Welcome or welcome back. This is the Balance Podcast. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you all are having a wonderful Christmas day, lovely holiday with your friends or family, or however you are choosing to spend Christmas this year. As I mentioned in the last episode, we are chatting today about things that we're going to be leaving in 2023, things that are not serving us anymore. And so I came up with 5 things that I think are pretty universal and can actually not only apply to this year, but can apply to every new year. And these are things that I'm going to be practicing and trying to implement. And I thought that they were just very universal and can apply to a lot of people. Before we dive into those 5 things, I just want to say thank you for being here. This is the last pod episode of this season, of this year, and I'm very excited for what is to come. But as always, we need to leave things behind in order to evolve. And, I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves each year, especially around this time that, this next year is going to be the year. This next year is going to be change. And I think that that's great. It's obviously good to have that energy, but it's also important to keep that energy in momentum and to keep perpetuating it. And I think that some of the things that I'm going to share today may help you do that. So without further ado, let's dive into it. All right, 5 things to leave in 2023. Number 1, not putting yourself first. Now, obviously, if you are a mother or if you are a parent, you're not putting yourself first. Okay, that's just the reality of it. More than likely, my listeners are not parents, but yeah, we need to stop putting others before ourselves, okay? And it's good to obviously care for other people. I'm not saying don't care, but in the end, you only got you. And it's really, I think, difficult, especially for chronic people pleasers. I'm raising my hand. It's really easy to not put yourself first. And this usually comes in the form of making time commitments or committing your energy to others and other things. And I think we sometimes don't have the courage to say no because we don't value our time enough. But also, I think sometimes we're just afraid to say no because we're worried about, what they're going to think of us, if they're going to say something to somebody else. But it's really important to try and establish some boundaries for yourself and establish what is important to you and what you are working on. And if committing your time and your energy to certain people or situations is actually serving you or benefiting you or helping you grow in the ways you want to grow. Now, not only can not putting yourself first come in the forms of spending time with other people, but it also can come in the form of spending your own time doing things that aren't getting you closer to X, Y, and Z. So now I just want to give you a little example of what I mean about this. Now, I am in a relationship, okay? I love my partner. I love spending time with him, especially because we have different schedules. And with that, sometimes I find myself, not like physically saying no to myself, but I find myself choosing to spend time with him over not working out or not editing my YouTube or because, I want to spend time with him. And when it comes to a dynamic like that, when you don't always have the same days off and things of that, it's easy to, obviously you want to spend time with the person you love. That's kind of why you're in a relationship with them. And obviously you want to have balance, right? Like you need to have a healthy balance of finding time to spend with your partner or your loved ones or your friends and also creating the space for you to work on what you need to work on and to move your needle forward. But the reality is, if you are saying yes to something or someone, you are saying no somewhere else. And as I always say, it's about creating a healthy balance because the caveat to this is always saying no to everything and everyone always. And then you're just completely alone because you aren't cultivating any type of friendship or relationship outside of yourself. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a good, solid self foundation, okay? We want that. We want to be able to be alone and to function on our own. But it's also like a psychological need that we need to interact with people. And there's nothing wrong with having friends or being in a relationship, but it's about having the balance and being able to know your priorities and to say yes to yourself and say yes to going to the gym and say yes to working on X, Y, and Z, whatever you're working on. You can say yes to yourself, but you can still say yes to other people. But I think it's about saying yes to yourself first, focusing on what you want to focus on first, and then with your leftover time, scheduling out when you can spend time with other people and on other things. I'm also mentioned that saying no to yourself can be spending time elsewhere. And for me, I have had this habit of going out and running errands that I thought were productive, when in reality, I was just wasting my time. And I found that I was getting frustrated with myself because I would set this intention for, my weekend and what I want to do and what I want to get accomplished. But then when it came around to it, I would go out and be running these errands and spending money here and spending my time there. And I come home and I'm exhausted and I don't want to work on my goals and I don't want to work on the things that I had set the intention to work on. And then I was just in this perpetuating cycle. So it's just about recognizing that this is one of my patterns and it's sort of just self-destructing towards my long-term goals. I think that's how you kind of have to think about it, is that it feels good in the moment to say yes and to hang out with this person or do that and have this dopamine rush. But is it really serving your long-term goal and your long-term vision for yourself? It's all about having the balance. You can still say yes to other people, but don't forget to put yourself first, okay? Now, the second one, along the lines of not putting yourself first and choosing to do other things. The second one is indulging in self-destructive habits. Now, I just told you one of mine. My self-destructing habit was not choosing myself, choosing to go do other things, waste my money, waste my time. But other destructive habits could be drinking alcohol, smoking, binge eating, being too much on your phone or on social media. These are all, I think, self-destructing habits that serve no greater purpose. Now, if you do or do not know, I used to have a habit or addiction of smoking. There was no benefit to that. It just led me in this perpetuation of depression and anxiety. And also alcohol. I just celebrated being 1 year sober, and honestly, I don't think that I'll go back to drinking on even a normal basis, like maybe once or twice a year, honestly. But, it's okay. We need to find balance, right? It's okay to drink alcohol. I personally think that it doesn't serve you, but it's okay to have, a glass on a special day or night celebration. There's no benefit to getting trashed. It's not cute. You feel like shit the next day. You're spending money. Are you really winning? And, we just live in this society that is very self-destructive, and it takes a lot of work to retrain yourself to do things that are beneficial for you, which sounds pretty messed up, but just the way that our society functions, it's very self-destructive. Look at us as a society. We're destructing ourselves, we're destructing other people, we're destructing other countries, and we're destructing the planet. Our foundation of our existence is self-destructing. So, I know it's hard and overwhelming, but you have to start with yourself first. You have to start with yourself and understand your self-destructive habits and work on those. I think a big one, aside from, substances like food and alcohol and drugs, we're very technology driven nowadays, and our technology consumption is addictive. It's very addictive. We're always on our phone, we're always on our computers, and it's just kind of wild, right? It's wild because here I am as a content creator. on the internet. You're probably listening to me from your phone. And, I'm over here saying that we need to stop consuming the internet. But I'm also telling you, like, I obviously want you to watch my content because I think what I have to share can be valuable in some way, shape, or form. But then I'm also telling you to get off the internet. Like, it's very interesting. But I think it just starts with becoming aware of your consumption, becoming aware of what you are consuming and how much you're using your phone. Now, I don't think being on social media can be inherently bad. I think it just comes down to your discernment of what apps you are choosing to use, who you follow on these apps, and the type of content that you are choosing to consume. Now, don't get me wrong, watching a couple minutes of cute puppies and cute children doing cute things, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Okay, that is a nice sort of enjoyment laugh that can bring some nice energy to your day, right? But if you're spending hours upon hours on your For You page on TikTok or the Explore page on Instagram, like at that point, you're just wasting your time. Okay, and this is not to say that I am holier than thou, okay? I sometimes get caught up, but I do try my best to take notice of when I am kind of getting sucked in and being like, okay, we need to move on with our day. We're not going to spend 30 minutes to an hour in the car after we just park on the For You page, okay? We have things we got to do, and this is not a good use of my time. And for me, I've also just tried to limit who I'm following because I truly believe that, the type of content that you are consuming can be self-destructive. Okay. What I'm just advocating for you here is to just take your power back. Be the controller of the phone. Be the controller of your social media, not the one being controlled by it. And I think it's just important to be mindful of how you're using your phone, how you're using the social media, what you are consuming, and how it is affecting you, and if it's contributing to your life. What are some other things that are self-destructive? Okay, not getting to bed on time. If you don't already know, sleep is important. You need to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And if you can, take like the hour prior to your bedtime to not be on your phone, okay? You don't need the blue light in your eyeballs. You don't need to be consuming what Sally Sue over here did and ate today. That will be there tomorrow. Try and read a book. Try and meditate. Listen to some music. Have some tea. Try and get some good sleep, okay? Another thing that's self-destructive. Stop drinking so much damn caffeine. Like, it is not serving you. It is really not that great for you, especially in all these energy drinks and whatnot. And most of the time, if you're a coffee drinker, your pee just smells weird. I don't like that. I'm sure you don't like that, but you're just probably so used to it by now that you don't even realize it. Your pee shouldn't be smelling like coffee, okay? Your pee should be clear. Stop drinking so much caffeine. Drink more water. Also, move your body, and we also need to stop eating like crap. I'm guilty, okay? I've been eating way too much damn sugar. It's not good. Sugar is just as addicting as drugs. Also, caffeine. Caffeine is also addicting. So let's work on not drinking so much caffeine, not eating so much sugar, going to bed on time, saying yes to ourselves. All right. Number 3, allowing others' problems and energy to consume you. I am very guilty of this. I tend to be somebody who absorbs people's energy, and I also am guilty of taking it personally, even when it has nothing to do with me. Whenever I interact with someone who has met me with unpleasant, unkind energy, I let it affect me and I let it ruin my day. And I'm really working on trying to not do that, because we have to remember we are all living in our own worlds. We're all living in our own realities. And, someone may be having a crap day, and it's likely because they don't know you, they don't have a personal relationship with you. It's a lot easier for them to take out their frustration and meet you with more hostility than they would somebody who they have a close relationship with. Now, isn't to say that, sometimes we do take out our frustration and our anger on our loved ones and the people who we care about, which I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I can understand why mainly strangers can be more rude to you than your loved ones. I'm just trying to recognize that it's not about me, okay? If this is happening to you, it's not about you. They are in their own world and they are dealing with their own stuff. You are not of relevance in their world. So don't let them be relevant in yours. Don't allow their crap way of treating you affect you, okay? It has nothing to do with you. It sucks because we don't like being treated that way, but it has nothing to do with you. So just remember that and go about your merry day. And I know it's easier said than done, but it's just about, not getting triggered right away and just kind of taking a step back and being like, damn, okay, they got something going on. Yes, they're choosing to take it out on me, but most likely it has nothing to do with what you did. And even if you did have an interaction with them that, maybe peeve them off, truly the way that they are reacting and the intensity of how they are reacting doesn't have to do with you, okay? What about, as I mentioned before, what about the people who are close to you? Your family, your partner. Obviously, and especially if you are living in the same space, sharing a room, sharing a house, it can be a little bit more difficult being around not only somebody who you love, but if they are carrying a negative energy and are also perpetuating that onto you. It's obviously much harder. And I think obviously you want to understand again, they are feeling the way that they are, and the way that they are feeling is not your responsibility. It's just how they're choosing to act. It's the energy that they are in at that moment. Obviously, a good thing to do is to probably leave the situation, go in another room. Just limit the opportunity for you to be their punching bag, essentially. And or you can try and be of support if they are open to talking, or if they want your support. Obviously, when it comes to your loved one, when it comes to your partner, you want to be there for them. You don't want to just let them act out, but sometimes they need to. And when it comes to that, you can try and offer your support, but if they are acting hostile towards you and it has nothing to do with you or anything that you did, I think the best thing is to leave that space and leave that energy. Let them come to some sort of equilibrium and balance. Leave them be. Go do your own thing. Put on some headphones. Don't make it your problem because it doesn't need to be. Now, I'm very guilty of making it my problem, okay? I've always been one to want to fix everything and to fix everyone. And I want there to be balance and peace always. I don't like when there is any rifts. I don't like when there is any imbalance within my relationships with people, or even when I'm seeing my loved one be imbalanced. Like I'm a freaking Libra rising, okay? I want nothing but balance in my life all the time. I hate when there's a discord. It literally makes me sick when something's wrong. But I'm trying to teach myself that I can't fix everything and I can't fix everyone. And sometimes I need to focus on myself and I need to allow others the space to let them figure things out on their own. And I don't need to feel guilty for not trying to fix them or trying to fix the situation. Because, yeah, although it makes me anxious when there is not balance, when somebody who I love is in this out of balance energy, what is most important is keeping myself balanced, is keeping yourself balanced and centered, and not everything is about me. Sometimes people have bad days without me being the sole cause of it. And I don't need to take it personally. So if you got anything from that, my main point is if you are somebody who tends to be affected by your loved ones being out of balance, try and be of support if you can, but ultimately don't let it affect you as much. Focus on keeping yourself balanced because, that is the most important thing. Number 4. This is a big one, I think, when it comes to working towards your goals or having an idea, wanting to do something. We allow motivation to control us, and we only seem to do things when we feel motivated to do them. Stop allowing motivation to control you. It's about being consistent, not motivated. Now, I have missed a lot of windows to possibly be further ahead in different capacities than I am now because I focus too much on having this feeling of being motivated versus being consistent, sticking to what it is I need to do, making a routine of it. And, I just put a lot of emphasis and value on being motivated and being in the energy to do something versus being consistent and choosing to do something even if I didn't feel like it. Okay, obviously, I want to, and I want you to have a healthy balance between the rest and the relaxation and also getting things done. I think that it's good to be motivated. Like you want to do something, right? But at the same time, if you only wait to when you want to do something or you have the inspiration to do something, although you might still get things done, you won't get as much done as you could. And I think there's so much more power and potency in being consistent with something and showing up and doing even just a little bit instead of only showing up when you are motivated. And let's just say I go about doing this and I only work on my content when I'm motivated. When I'm motivated, let's just say I spend the whole day doing stuff. Well, if I'm only motivated, we'll say once a week. Okay, there's on average 4 weeks in a month. That's only 4 times that I'm really spending time working on what I want to work on. Versus if let's just say I show up for 1 hour every single day and I do something every single day to get me further in my content creation or whatever goal that I'm working on, I am going to get so much more done and make so much more progress than if I just decided to do things when I'm motivated. Plain and simple. It's just about making adjustments, knowing what you can handle and what is realistic for you within your day, within, your situation. And I think what's reasonable is spending 30 minutes to an hour towards that one thing each day. Whatever it is you think that you need motivation for, try and spend 30 minutes to an hour each day working on that. And I promise you, not only will you, accomplish more within whatever that is, but you'll start gaining more confidence in yourself. Because when you are working on something for even just a little bit every single day, you are showing up for yourself. You are showing up for that thing, that goal. And it allows you to just build more confidence within yourself, knowing that you can do something and you are capable of working on that thing and that you don't need to just wait until you're motivated to do it and to make progress. Now, I think this final last one kind of ties into, what I was just talking about, but I think it's so important to have something that you're working on for yourself. So what we're leaving behind in 2023 is not having goals for yourself, not working towards something bigger than yourself. Okay. Whether it's being able to do a pull-up or running a marathon, let's just say you want to read 20 books or make a career change or go back to school, whatever it is, I think it's so important for you and yourself to have at least 1 to 3 things that you are working towards, that you have a goal for within a year. Kind of a download that came to me the other day was that we need to start thinking of our life as like a video game. Okay. We need to start thinking of our life as a choose your own adventure. Imagine your life as a video game. You're the main character, and the point of the game, the point of the adventure is to level up, right? When you're playing this game, you want nothing more than to level up. You're not just wanting to stay on the same level, okay? That gets boring. Doing the same things, fighting the same people. You want to level up. You want to experience new things. And what I think is so interesting is that I think as we get older, we understand and we know and we perceive each day as familiar. Okay, we go to the same job, we see the same people, we're kind of living the same day, the same situations, we're having the same conversations. And I think a reason that we don't level up is because one, we're not consciously trying to, but two, we're not approaching each day as with this mindset of that it's a new day. Now, think back when you were a child. When you're a child, everything seems more euphoric. Everything seems more new because you're experiencing it for the first time. When you are a kid, when you are developing, you are experiencing things for the first time. And as we get older, as I've just mentioned, our brains are more developed. Okay, we understand patterns more and we get more into patterns. When you're a child, there's more room for play. There's more room for exploration and to kind of evolve a little bit easier. But when you get older, you're going to the same job, you're just seeing the same people, and you just start having kind of the same days that each day doesn't seem new. It doesn't seem euphoric. It just seems monotonous. And what I think we try and need to do is sort of restructure our thinking and try and live each day childlike. Live each day that it is a brand new day. Things are going to be different. We are going to act different. We are going to choose different things. We are going to speak differently so that we are having new and different conversations. We are meeting new and different people. And it's when we start approaching our days and we start showing up for ourselves and we're not delving into self-destructive habits and we are moving our body and we are working towards a goal that is bigger than ourselves. And when we are not allowing people's energy to affect our own is when we can start evolving. It is when we can move to the next level. It's when we start attracting things that are a reflection of us. We are all mirrors to each other. And when we start moving differently and start acting differently, our world is going to be different. Our interactions are going to be different. And I just feel like all the things that I've shared today can be encompassed into how we go forward, not only into this new year, but into our everyday lives. And I hope that what I've had to share, even though to me, as I'm talking for, minutes on end, it can seem kind of monotonous and that I'm just rambling, but I hope that you can find some value in what I'm sharing. And obviously, I hope that you do bring some new energy and some new change into this new year. I hope this helped. Merry Christmas again. Happy holidays. And I will see you next year. Bye-bye.